Sometimes it's not tragedy that breaks us, but love. God's overwhelming, undeserved love. True brokenness isn't despair. It's surrender. It's the moment we realize we can't fix ourselves and we don't have to. Let God take your broken heart and watch Him draw you nearer than ever before. True brokenness before God is not a dramatic collapse under the weight of tragedy. It's not just the moment your world falls apart, nor is it the rock bottom people often describe when they say, "I had nowhere else to turn." It's far more than a moment of emotional devastation. True brokenness is spiritual clarity. It's the awakening of the soul that finally sees itself in contrast to the holiness, the mercy, and the love of God, and crumbles not from despair, but from awe. It's when you stand in the presence of a perfect, holy, relentlessly loving God, and every illusion of self-sufficiency fades. The mask of pride falls off, the excuses collapse, the rehearsed prayers vanish, and all you can say is, "Lord, I have nothing, take my heart anyway." Brokenness is not the end of your strength. It's the beginning of His. And the miracle is that God never despises a broken heart. He runs to it. Psalm 51 verse 17 says, "The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise." God doesn't delight in performance. He's not moved by perfection. He's drawn to surrender. He desires truth in the inward parts. He longs for hearts that come to Him without pretense. Hearts that say, "I'm not enough, but you are." We've been taught to fear brokenness, to view it as weakness or as failure. But in the hands of God, brokenness becomes holy ground. Think of Moses, 40 years in the wilderness, stripped of his title, his confidence, his position. That wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. Only when Moses had nothing left to offer did God speak from the burning bush. It was when Moses was broken, not when he was powerful, that God said, "I will send you." The same is true for us. Brokenness positions us for intimacy. It clears the noise, it humbles the heart, it creates space for God to fill. So when you pray, "Lord, take my broken heart," you're not asking Him to repair a shattered object. You're inviting Him to dwell in the ruins and raise something new. You're opening yourself up to a rebuilding that only the Spirit of God can do. We often confuse pain with punishment and hardship with God's absence. But sometimes the pain is the very tool He uses to pull us closer. Sometimes it is in the breaking that He's softening our hearts to receive more of Him. A heart that is never broken is often too hard to hear His whisper. A soul that has never wept may not yet know the comfort of His embrace. Jesus Himself was broken, not just on the cross, but in His heart. He wept over Jerusalem. He groaned in agony in the garden. He was despised and rejected, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. He understands the language of pain, and He welcomes those who speak it. When you come to Him, broken, weary, ashamed, He doesn't recoil. He reaches, He heals, He restores. There's power in being undone before God. It is not weakness to fall to your knees. It is strength to surrender. The strongest people in the kingdom are not those who never fall, but those who fall and cry out, "Jesus, I need you more than I need my next breath." It's not about avoiding pain. It's about inviting God into it. Letting Him meet you in the place where your heart is most raw, your fears are most real, and your wounds are most deep. Brokenness is where idols die. It's where false securities are exposed. The things we trusted, our image, our intellect, our relationships, our routines, they fall away, and we're left with only Him. And in that stripping down, we discover something profound. He is enough. Even when everything else is gone, even when we don't feel strong or worthy or whole, He remains enough. A broken heart cries out differently. It doesn't ask for success or comfort or reputation. It pleads, "God, don't let me go. Don't leave me the way I am. Do whatever you must, but draw me near." That cry, that ache to be close to Him, is one of the most powerful prayers you can pray. But this brokenness isn't just about emotion. It's not just tears in a worship service or heaviness after a sermon. It's about transformation. When your heart breaks before God, your life begins to change. Pride dies, selfishness weakens, humility grows, and intimacy deepens. You don't perform Christianity anymore. You live it from the inside out. The Apostle Paul understood this. He said in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, "I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." Paul wasn't celebrating weakness itself. He was celebrating the grace that comes in the middle of it. the grace that floods into the cracks, the grace that meets us when we finally say, I can't do it on my own. Think about that. The power of Christ rests on weakness. It settles there. It's drawn there, not on the perfect, not on the polished, but on the surrendered. The church has often celebrated strength, miracles, boldness, victory, and rightly so. But we must also learn to celebrate holy brokenness, the quiet, unseen moments when a man falls to his knees and finally lets go. When a woman drops the mask she's been wearing for years and simply says, God, I'm tired. Take all of me. These are the sacred victories heaven applauds, and it's in those moments that something shifts. Not always in our circumstances, but in us. The storm might still rage, the pain may not vanish overnight, but our heart is no longer the same. There is peace, not because the path is easy, but because His presence is near. The pain doesn't disappear, but it's no longer wasted. It becomes the very place where God reveals Himself most deeply. We must stop seeing brokenness as a detour and start seeing it as a doorway to deeper faith, deeper love, deeper surrender. Some of the most anointed people you'll ever meet are not those with the flashiest testimonies, but those who've been broken before God and stayed close, who walk with a limp yet radiate peace, who've cried in the night yet still lift their hands in praise. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 3, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." That poverty of spirit, that deep awareness of our need, is not a curse, it's a blessing. Because when you know you need Him, you will always find Him. He never turns away the desperate. He never ignores the humble. So what does it look like to live from a broken heart that's surrendered to God? It looks like forgiveness, because you remember how much you've been forgiven. It looks like compassion, because you know what it feels like to hurt. It looks like humility, because you understand that anything good in you is only because of grace. It looks like hunger for the Word, because you've tasted how empty life is without it. It looks like worship that comes from the soul, not just the lips. Brokenness reorders your priorities. The things that once seemed important, position, reputation, applause, fade in the light of His glory. You begin to desire different things. Not more success, but more of Him. Not a bigger platform, but a purer heart. Not more followers, but deeper faith. It also changes how you see others. You're slower to judge, quicker to listen, more patient with weakness, more generous with grace. You begin to love with the kind of love you've received, unconditional, sacrificial, and real. But let me say this, brokenness is not a destination. It's a posture. It's not something you go through once and move on from. It's a way of walking with God. Daily surrender, daily openness, daily need. It's waking up each morning and saying, Lord, I'm yours. I need you again today. Without you, I have nothing. Without you, I am nothing. Take my heart, what's left of it, and draw me near. And the beauty is, He does. Every time. No matter how many times we fall, no matter how far we've run, He draws near to the brokenhearted. He binds up their wounds. He whispers peace into their chaos. Don't let pride keep you from that nearness. Don't let shame lie to you. Don't let fear tell you you're too far gone. The arms of Jesus are still open. The cross is still enough. The tomb is still empty, and His Spirit is still ready to fill the hearts that invite Him in. Even now He's calling, not to the polished version of you, but to the real you, the hurting you, the disappointed you, the one who smiles in public but breaks in private. That's the one He loves. That's the one He died for. That's the one He wants. So don't wait for your life to be perfect. Don't wait until you feel worthy. Just come, as you are, right now, and whisper the prayer He's been waiting to hear. Lord, take my broken heart and draw me near.